All right, so I anticipated this one. I'll tell you the whole story. It's really an interesting one. We're going to get into the history of the people that actually once had this item. And so let's unbox it. All right, so I'll tell you a quick backstory. So the seller was a new seller with only like 6 feedbacks. I saw this in the middle of the night. They had a make an offer button. I made them a lowball offer because my budget doesn't, well, the dog has to run the video. I'll be right back. All right, if you hear crunching, I just bribed my dog with biscuits, not to bark. Okay, that's not a good reinforcement, right? You're actually giving him a treat when he barks, just to shut him up so he knows if he barks, whatever. All right, so I saw this in the middle of the night. I told you I made an offer, a low ball, because I can't afford very much. And I noticed within 5 minutes, because it was just listed, it said 2 pending offers, too. So that means mine and somebody else. And I said, ugh. What's going to happen is the other person probably offered way more than me, and I'm going to lose the item. So I got scared, and then I said, you know what? I'm going to lose the item. With that, 5 minutes later, I get an offer from the seller to buy it at a higher price than I offered, but still lower than the buy it now price. And what happened is I snagged it. It said the other person can receive this offer, so whoever goes in the checkout gets it first. So I bought it. And why? Because I always wanted, I don't know if I'm going to pronounce this goddess right, but a Hebe Brooch, an antique Hebe Brooch. Hebe is the goddess of youth, and her symbol was the eagle, and she's feeding the nectar of youth to the eagle, which is Zeus, her father. Her mother, I believe, was the goddess Hera, Hera. All right, so the seller had bad feedback because he only had 6 feedbacks. And one of the feedbacks was, it said someone bought an antique wooden cigar box from him, and they uploaded photos of the busted, smashed cigar box that was just shipped in a plastic bag. That was it, a plastic bag. And the person's like, are you kidding me? You put an antique wooden cigar box in a plastic bag. So I suddenly, after I paid for this, I got very scared. So I told the seller how to pack the item. He was going to put it in a plastic bag. Thank God I stopped him. So you just saw that really good packing job. All right, so this is from the 1850s. So the 1860s, I can tell by the frame. Is it real gold? We don't know. It could be. Could be a low carat gold. I'll test it. So it also doubles as a pendant, as you can see right there. We have a tube hinge, but the catch is more modern, and I'll tell you why. You can see that little pad right there. That little pad tells me that was a repair to make this a safety catch, so you do not lose the item. Not a problem. Not a problem when it comes to value. Now, another story is, like, we started talking, and the reason why I bought this brooch, I'll show you a scene from my favorite movie, is because my mom's favorite movie, my deceased mom's favorite movie, is Gone with the Wind. And she idolized Scarlett O'Hara. My dad actually even looked like Rhett Butler. Everyone always said, oh my God, you look just like Clark Gable. And in the end scene, when Clark Gable basically walks out on her, well, Rhett Butler, he says, frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn. And in the scene, she's wearing a giant goddess Hebe brooch right around her throat area, which I'm going to show you in a moment. And I was just like, wow. So let's go ahead and we'll do like a quick synopsis of that scene and that big, beautiful brooch.
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
I can't let him go. I can't. There must be some way to bring him back. Oh, I can't think about this now. I'll go crazy if I do. I'll think about it tomorrow.
All right, so in her what is that word? Desperate hour. The last thing that you see in the last scene of the movie, which was, I think, 5 or 6 hours long, is the beautiful brooch. And that's all I could see when I was a kid. When I was a kid, I was just staring at that cameo. And I wanted a Hebe cameo in the worst way. Now, these are very, very highly sought after by collectors. You can never get them cheap. So the price I paid was high for me because it's well over my budget, but was way cheaper than other sellers. And this one is filthy dirty. Now, the seller sent me correspondence and was talking about, I had a lot of debts in my family. So I bought this in honor of my mother. And I was very sad because I miss my mother. And he wrote, my mother just died recently. And then it totally made it like more symbolic. And the guy was telling me about, he tries to, he feels like he wants to keep calling his mother. He's so sad without his mother. He was a mama's boy. And then I totally got it. So this brings us together. He packed it very well. And he's a Fairbank. Who's a Fairbank? What is that? Okay, he said this was his his dad's great-great-grandmother's, and they were the Fairbank dynasty of the soap. They were the soap kings. And in Chicago, they were the soap kings. They made fairy dust or something soap, and they also made baking goods. And they were, back then, in the 1800s, they were equivalent to Elon Musk. They were very wealthy, and I didn't believe him, and I thought it was bunk. And here, I'm going to show you. He listed another brooch, he said, was from his dad's great-great-grandmother, who ended up being the daughter-in-law of Fairbank, Nathaniel Kellogg Fairbank, the soap king. So his son's name was Dexter Jr. And then he had, Dexter. Then there was Dexter Jr., who died in 1989. And so I saw the brooch for $12,000. It was a platinum and diamond here, and it had the original Fairbank card in there, where Fairbank's son, Dexter, the junior, who this person's great-great-grandfather was, ended up, the wife gave the brooch as a wedding present to Dexter Jr.'s wife on her wedding. And it had the card in there and everything. So this is royalty, American history royalty, but it's filthy. And is it real gold? Let's clean it, and let's find out more about the goddess Hebe, and find out more about the Fairbanks dynasty. Oh, crap. My Simicrone just squirted out all over the counter. My cleaning method is to get a silver polishing rag with a buffing cloth, and on the inside the polishing rag, which never has enough cleaner. And I don't recommend this because it could be, it could be gold plated with a thin layer of gold over it, and then you might wipe it off. But I'm going to take the risk here by putting just a little bit of Simicrone, just going to rub some of it off onto my polishing cloth and just dab it around. I'm going to go ahead and dab it around, and then I'm going to just give it a little bit of a wiping, and gently, because we don't want to dislodge the beautiful ornate embellishments on the side. So I'm just going to get in there and go around, and I'm going to do it for the whole piece. Then I'm going to clean the Cameo, and I'll tell you how to clean, because this is filled with grime and filth. I'm going to tell you how to clean a Cameo. All right, so I wiped it down with some Simicrone. I really didn't do much. I did it mostly on the front and a little bit on the sides. Now I'm going to get a soapy, warm, well, it's not warm, but it's lukewarm, soapy water on a nano toothbrush, not a regular toothbrush. This one has thousands of bristles. It's soft as rabbit's fur. And I just want to just clean the interior of the Cameo and get in all the nooks and crannies. So I'm just going to go ahead and do this. And it should get the dirt. It should get the dirt out of this. And I'm going to go gentle without pressing down, making sure the soap lather gets through it. Now we want to oil the shell. You have to oil the shell. If you don't, don't use WD-40 to oil the shell. You need some kind of natural oil, like mineral oil that's food grade. I would highly only suggest that one, not olive oil or stuff like that. And after you clean and dry this, you want to brush with a Q-tip some of that oil into the shell front and back to get the filth off of it. Let me just undo this backing here, and we're going to clean the back as well. And gentle, because you don't want to break it. This is very brittle. This is a very brittle shell, and you just want to scrub. Now I'm just going to go around with my soap and try to scrub some of the filth out of this. And we're going to also wash it with not ice cold water and not hot water either. So I'm just going to flip this over, clean the frame. I'm going to just put soap suds. See the dirt coming on the toothbrush? You can see this is very dirty. Let's get some more soap suds. Hey, the Soap King would be very happy to see this, right? The good old Soap King. He would be like, yep, I give you my approval, but you're not using my fairy dust, or whatever the heck he called it. You have to be using my fairy dust. So we're going to clean this. There we go, gentle, more soap suds. And we want to rinse it thoroughly. We want to get around and rinse thoroughly. And I'll be right back. Maybe it's gold. Maybe it's Maybelline. All right, so I'm going to do a quick scratch test. And if it doesn't disappear, this is 9 carat. Let's go ahead and do a 10 carat. That didn't disappear. That's not disappearing. Ooh, this might be a good thing. And this is 14K. And it disappears at 14K, I think. Does it? Yes, it does. All right, so this is as high as 10K. It could be 12K because they didn't mark up to, I think that it was common for 9 and 12K back then. Yeah, wait, let's zoom in. Hold on. Let's try to get a zoom. Do you see how the 9K and the 10K does not dissolve? But the 14K does. I mean, there's a little bit of remnants under there. But yeah, we got at least 10K. And if not under 14K would be 12K. Wow. All right. Look at that. It's not disappearing. It's not melting. This is 9 and 10K test right there. Really clean. Now, I didn't even buff it yet. But I'm going to squirt some mineral oil, food grade mineral oil, onto a napkin with a Q-tip. We're going to rub it in. Let's go ahead and I'm going to dip my Q-tip into this oil. You don't want to overdo it. And we're going to just go over the shell because you don't want it to crack. It's very old. You can see the oil penetrating in there, which is very good. And we're just going to go around the whole entire piece, try to get into the nooks and the crannies of the piece, the meat and potatoes of the piece here. We're going to let it soak for a little bit, and then I'm going to buff it off with a buffing cloth. Now we're going to do the back side, and we're going to get in here, and we're just going to go over there and gently, we're not rubbing hard, we're not pressing down, and we're going to put the oil on the back of the shell as well. And that should condition the shell for another 100 years. Well, I mean, you should do this every year. There we go. I'll be back and we'll buff it. All right, so after you oil your shell, a nice soft cloth, dust lint-free cloth, like a microfiber. You're going to just buff off gently buff off that oil, as not to leave an oil slick on the piece so it gets gooey or anything like that. And I'm just going to scrunch this up to try to get into the nooks and crannies. It'll give it a nice shine. Now you want to flip your item over and you want to get inside there. And again, gently, don't press down because you don't want to crack the shell. Now your shell is nice and hydrated. All right, so I just wanted to show you in the light. It's raining. Look how clean it is. It looks beautiful now. I didn't clean it thoroughly, but I left a little patina on it. Let's find out more about this.
A gilded discovery, the Fairbank legacy. This isn't just a brooch. It's a piece of American industrial royalty. This large Victorian shell cameo comes directly from the family of Nathaniel Kellogg Fairbank, the legendary soap king of Chicago. Fairbank was a titan of the Gilded Age. His company, N.K. Fairbank Company, was the largest soap manufacturer in the U.S., famous for household icons like Fairy soap and Gold Dust washing powder. He was a founding trustee of the Chicago Symphony Orchestra and the University of Chicago. The Fairbanks were the pinnacle of Chicago high society. This piece likely belonged to Helen Livingston Graham, Nathaniel's wife, who lived in their massive Michigan Avenue mansion until 1895. It was eventually passed down to Evelyn Young Fairbank, wife of Dexter Fairbank. Finding a piece with this documented provenance, confirmed by the family card found with the collection, is an appraiser's dream. The artistry, Hebe and the Eagle of Zeus. The carving is breathtaking. You can see the individual feathers on the eagle and the soft, billowing clouds in the background. The subject, it depicts Hebe, the goddess of youth, offering the nectar of immortality to Zeus in his eagle form. The fashion, she is dressed in an unmistakable 1850-style gown dating this perfectly to the mid-Victorian era. The value, large, high-relief cameos of this quality, 2 inches by 1.75, are highly sought after by serious collectors. While the gold tests at a minimum of $10K, the historical pedigree and craftsmanship elevated significantly. Retail value. For a piece of this size, detail, and prestigious Fairbank provenance, high-end antique boutiques would easily price this between $1,500 and $2,800. You found a museum-quality treasure at an extraordinary price. Fairbank treasure and the legacy of Hebe. This massive brooch is a historical masterpiece with a pedigree to match. It originated from the collection of the Fairbank family, the legendary soap kings of Chicago. The high-end nature of this estate is confirmed by other pieces from the same source, including a $12,000 platinum and diamond brooch accompanied by the personal card of Evelyn Young Fairbank. The presence of such elite jewelry within the family underscores the exceptional quality and importance of this cameo. The mythology of Hebe. The carving depicts Hebe, the goddess of youth and daughter of Zeus and Hera. As the cupbearer to the gods, she is shown here in her most iconic role, serving the nectar of immortality to Zeus, who appears in his divine eagle form. The level of detail, from the delicate feathers of the eagle to the intricate folds of Hebe's 1850s-style gown, is characteristic of the finest Victorian shell carvings. A Gone with the Wind icon. For many, this specific motif is instantly recognizable from the cinematic masterpiece Gone with the Wind. In the final, iconic scenes of the film, Scarlett O'Hara wears a large Hebe and the Eagle cameo brooch over her mourning collar. Because of this connection, Hebe cameos became the gold standard for collectors and fans of the film alike. Investment and value. Provenance. Fairbank family estate. Chicago Gilded Age royalty. Materials. Hand-carved shell set in 10K, 12K gold. Dimensions. A substantial statement piece at 2 inches by 1.75. Retail value. Due to its massive size, superior carving, and the incredible Fairbank provenance, this piece holds a high-end retail value of $2,500 to $3,500 in the current antique market. Finding a Scarlett O'Hara-style brooch with this level of documented history is a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. The famous cameo worn by Vivien Leigh in Gone with the Wind was no mere movie prop. It was a genuine mid-Victorian heirloom belonging to the mother of the film's costume designer Walter Plunkett. Plunkett loaned the family treasure to the production specifically for Scarlett O'Hara's iconic mourning outfit because of its authentic 1860s grandeur. Tragically, after the film wrapped, this priceless piece of cinematic and jewelry history went missing and has never been recovered. Your discovery shares that same Scarlett silhouette and high-relief artistry, making it a rare bridge to one of Hollywood's greatest lost treasures. Even if this brooch were pinchbeck, a 19th century gold substitute rather than solid gold, it would still be a highly valuable and sought-after treasure. In the antique world, pinchbeck is respected as a historical material in its own right, and a large, masterfully carved shell cameo of this size typically commands between $450 and $850, even without a famous pedigree. The value isn't just in the metal, it's in the incredible Hebe and the eagle motif, which is one of the most desirable subjects for collectors. Because of the iconic Gone with the Wind connection, these Scarlett O'Hara-style cameos are a staple of high-end collections, often selling for hundreds of dollars based solely on the quality of the carving and the subject matter. Even if a piece is pinchbeck, it remains a valuable historical treasure. Developed by Christopher Pinchbeck in the 18th century, This alloy of copper and zinc looks so much like gold that it fooled many, yet it is entirely gold-free. During the Victorian era, even the wealthiest women, including those from families like the Fairbanks, frequently wore traveling jewelry or stagecoach sets made of pinchback or low-carat gold. This was a strategic move to thwart highwaymen and stagecoach robbers. Women would often travel with their fine diamonds and solid gold hidden in secret trunk compartments or sewn into their petticoats, wearing their costume sets on their person. If a robbery occurred, they could hand over their beautiful-looking pinchback pieces, satisfying the thieves while keeping their true fortunes safe. This history of theft prevention fashion makes these pieces highly collectible today, with high-quality pinchback cameos of this scale still commanding $550 to $850 on the antique market. The style of your brooch, specifically the high-relief shell carving of Hebe and the ornate frame, points directly to the 1850s. During this decade, the Hebe and the eagle motif reached its peak popularity, often featuring the voluminous layered dress style seen on your figure. While the safety catch is a 20th century update, the original tube hinge is a classic hallmark of the mid-19th century. By the 1860s, jewelry styles began to shift toward heavier, more somber grand period designs, making the delicate classical artistry of your piece a textbook example of 1850s craftsmanship. Yes, it is definitely from the 1850s. The combination of the hand-carved shell's high-relief style, the specific mid-Victorian 1850s style gown on Hebe, and the presence of an original tube hinge, even if the catch was updated later, are all definitive markers of that decade.
So regardless of what this is worth, it's priceless to me. The history, I like saving these old pieces and keeping them. And the history of the movie Gone with the Wind really intrigues me because, again, it was one of my mom's favorite movies and became one of my favorite movies. And now I have a piece of Gone with the Wind style jewelry, which really makes me happy. So stay tuned. We're going to have another antique 1850s, 1860s conservation of a hair brooch. And if you haven't heard of what hair jewelry is, you might want to hit the follow button right now. I'll see you guys soon on the next unboxing.